Hey guys, so I've got the pleasure of interviewing Markus from Rockwell Trading. So if you guys haven't heard of him yet, it's definitely something that's definitely worth checking out. I think Markus has a really great story about basically learning to trade and then becoming a really top professional trader over the last 25 years, coming from Germany to the US, and he's currently in Austin, same place I'm located. So it's kind of cool to have such a well-known trader just down the road from me, and I thought it was about time to have him on the channel and sort of talk about what he does and get some nice tips and tricks from him. So welcome to the channel, Markus.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, Russell.
Yeah, and I think I've watched a few of your other videos. People have been interviewing and things, and I thought one of the stories that's fascinating is the idea that when you started trading, it was like 25, 30 years ago now.
Oh my God.
Before online trading was really a thing. So you really are a veteran of this industry, and I think that's something that's really special for us to keep keep an eye sort of like looking back to what things were and how good we have it now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I was hoping you could tell us a story about the first stock that you bought back in the day.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's quite a story because this is back when I was still in high school, and this is when I was still in Germany, 1989, and I wanted to become a trader. I mean, it was always my dream, but back in 1989, we couldn't go online as we can these days and just open an account. I mean, back then you had to go to a bank to open a trading account, and in Germany, obviously, that's Deutsche Bank. So I walked into a branch office of Deutsche Bank, talked to a banker and said, I want to open a trading account. And the banker said, dude, I mean, you're still in school. How much money are you planning to put into your trading account? And I said, well, all of the money that I have, that's 50 Deutschmark. That's pretty much like $50, right? And the banker said, no, I can't do this. I said, oh, well, please, 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 please. So I convinced him. We opened a trading account with 50 Deutschmark. And then he said, okay, Markus, now that the trading account is open, what stock do you want to trade? And I thought, ooh, didn't think about that. So I asked him, what stock can I trade for 50 Deutschmark? And he said, well, right now, Volkswagen is trading at 50 Deutschmark. I said, done. So I bought one share of VW. Now I was all excited. So next day in school, I mean, I wanted to know how am I doing. And back then, we didn't have cell phones or online quotes or anything like this. So in the first recess break, I ran to a pay phone that we had, right? Entered my 20 cents, called the banker, and I said, hey, how is the stock doing? And the banker said, well, guess what? Right now, we are trading at 50 Deutschmark and 20 cents. And I thought, yes, this is working well. So during the second recess break, same thing. Inserted my 20 cents, called the banker again and said, where are we trading right now? And he said, well, we're going up, not much, but it's trading at 50 Deutschmark and 40 cents. And I thought, yes, so great. So as soon as I got home in the afternoon, I mean, we had one of these rotary phones, right? So I called the banker and I said, hey, where did the markets close? Where are we right now? And he said, well, guess what? It closed at 50 Deutschmark and 50 cents. So I was super excited. I was making money with trading. So next day, the same thing. I called the banker during the first recess break, during the second recess break, and also as soon as I got home. Now, on the third day of my seventh call to the banker, he said, Markus, let me stop you right here. Let me ask you, how much money are you trying to make with this stock? And I thought about it. And I thought, okay, I invested 50 Deutschmark. If I can make 10 Deutschmark, I mean, that would be 20%. That's not bad at all. So I said, yes, I want to make 10 Deutschmark. And the banker said, done. Come to my office tomorrow morning. I'll give you the 10 Deutschmark and stop calling me, right? So this was my first trade, the first profitable trade, but I quickly realized that this is not a sustainable trading strategy.
That's definitely one way to do it, that's for sure, yeah. Maybe I'll try that one with Thinkorswim. And
right, yeah, just keep calling them.
That's awesome. And then so that was kind of your start, weren't you about like 18 or something back then? Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very young. And then it was several years later you decided to come to the US from Germany to basically pursue day trading, it sounds like. And is that kind of what happened? You end up in Austin or?
Right. Because I mean, after this interesting experience, I mean, my parents convinced me to go to college, so I did that, and so like a good German, right? The traditional career path. You get good grades in high school, you go to college, and then you start working for a big company. And I was working for IBM.
Right.
But then after a few years, I really got burned out because I was just working long hours, and I decided that's not for me. And that's when I thought, you know what, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. And I moved to the US. It has always been my dream. And I thought, let's see if I can make money with trading. So I came to the US with $30,000 in my pocket, and this was in 2002. So now 20 years ago, put
Yes.
$10,000 away for living expenses, $20,000 into my trading account, and started trading. And at first, it didn't go well because you're
Right.
right. I was day trading. I was trading on 1 minute charts. And here's why.
Yeah.
Somebody told me if you want to make it as a trader and you don't make at least 100 trades a day, you won't be able to make it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, God.
You're laughing. So this is exactly. I mean, this guy must have been a broker because my broker was very, very, very
Yeah.
happy. That's why I
Yeah.
traded on 1 minute charts, and
Right.
I made all the mistakes, Russell.
Right.
I mean, I was trying to swing for the fences, go for the 10 bagger, the 100 bagger, right? And I was over trading. I was emotional when trading. I was revenge trading. I mean, everything that you can imagine. And I
Yeah.
lost money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's crazy. So you started off as a crackhead day trader on a 1 minute time frame, and then progressed over the next few years, I'm guessing, to become more swing trading, and then eventually option selling. It seems to be the
Yeah,
evolution.
exactly. Especially as I get older, right? I mean, I just turned 53, and I can stare at charts all day long and really watch 1 minute charts. I mean, this is way too stressful for me. So I've become a really lazy trader. So right now I'm trading maybe 20 to 30 minutes in the open, and that's it, so that I can have a life. Because ultimately, that's what we want as a trader, right? We always say we want to have freedom and we want to be on the beach, and then we were sitting inside with all these monitors
Runners,
just
yeah,
staring at them, right? I mean, what kind of freedom is that? So this is where,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
I just have two screens these
yep,
days. So I used to have six screens, but
right.
I'm down to two screens. That's all I need, and 30
Love
minutes a
it.
day. And yeah, definitely a way more relaxed trader.
I love it. Yeah, I actually only just have my laptop, so I came to the same conclusion. I was like, "This is terrible. I've basically bought myself a job. I've got like all these monitors. This is a nightmare. I can't handle this. This is pointless. Just have one computer. Just do the basic stuff. Swing trade, or take one quick day trade near the market open or something.
Right.
Has worked well for me. So totally understand where you're coming from with that. So
Yeah.
so I guess fast forward a few years though, and it looks like took you about 5 years to become really proficient at what you were doing, and then
Yeah.
start at Rockwell trading. Is that kind of the right timeline?
Yeah, and I mean, this was actually an accident because what happened is since I started to figure out how this trading works, right? I mean, I was at that time still living in a cookie cutter neighborhood. And so my neighbors noticed that I was staying at home pretty much. And I had all these nice toys. I bought myself a Harley Davidson, nicer cars. And they said, so what do you do? I mean, you're not going to work. You're just working from home. I mean, these days it's normal. Back in the
Right.
days, it was not. So I said, I'm
Yeah,
trading. And they
sure.
said, well, can we see what you're doing? And I said, sure, come on over. And soon, I mean, I had neighbors coming over, I had friends of friends coming over. And I mean, I just got too busy so that I was more focused on teaching than trading. And that's why I decided, you know what, I put everything that I know on a website. And that's how we founded Rockwell Trading. Did you hear the
Yeah,
story how the name Rockwell Trading,
I
how we came
did.
up with the name?
I did, yeah, and I think just so very quickly, I think this was one of your first ebooks, right? That you put out there for your family and friends that were asking you like a ton of stuff about, like, how are you doing this and things, and you put together it's like very basic but really really in depth, like it's like 300 pages long or
Yeah.
something. I'll leave a link in the description below this video for people watching this to go and check this out. It's a really valuable read, I think, and it's really good from beginner to probably about intermediate. Would you say? Is
Yeah,
that quite? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and then so the Rockwell story, yeah. So I think I know part of it. I
I,
think you mentioned somewhere that I read or listened to you a long time ago was that you didn't want to name your company after your own name because it's so hard to pronounce or people to
I mean,
remember. Heitkotter, is that right?
Headquarter, right? I mean, nobody could ever type this in. And
Right.
so I was thinking about, since I basically wanted to publish all of my notes, to call it Headquarters Notebook, but that sounded not right. And so Headquarter Trading, no, they want to do this. And so this is where at that time, my brother's wife was from the Philippines, and she said there is actually a really cool center on the Philippines. It's called the Rockwell Center. We
Oh,
looked it up, and it looks pretty amazing. So this is why we thought, that sounds pretty cool. Rockwell Trading. So that's actually named after a shopping center on the Philippines.
that's right.
But
I
yeah,
remember reading that now. Yeah, yeah. I remember having a laugh to myself when I read that. I was like, "Oh, cool. Yeah, that's good." And it's good. So you got your teaching and educational services set up under Rockwell Trading,
yeah.
and I haven't been following Rockwell for that long, so I'm not sure how the evolution of the company went. I think though I read you guys were doing more like alerts in the early days, and now it's progressed more to the PowerX optimizer and the mastermind kind of groups and things. Is that kind of correct?
Yeah, you see, in the beginning, as said, I was just basically teaching and publishing videos of what I do. And at some point, I realized nobody wakes up in the middle of the night and says, I want to watch more videos, right? I mean, what we all want as a trader is give me the next stock pick, give me the next
Right,
tip, the next trade, right?
right,
So
right.
this were at first I was thinking about an alert service, but then a software, and this is actually a software that I had programmed just for myself
Oh, you
and
did?
also for
Oh,
my head
wow.
coach Mark Hodge. And then yeah, people asked, can I have the software? And so this were a few years ago we made this available to everybody, and that's a software that basically answers the three most important things that you need as a trader. Number one, what should you trade? Number two, when do you enter and when do you exit? And number three is, what about money management and position sizing, right? How
Right.
much money should I dedicate to a trade?
To the thing, yeah, yeah, and that's what I love about the system. So it's people think that if you can save that time by having a tool like the PowerX, to me that's worth so much because it's really just taking all the noise and you get this like strategy that you've used. You still use it. It sounds like every day if you place
Every
your
day.
swing trades or your wheel strategy or whatever every day,
Yep.
and to have that spoon fed to you in a program that you can make your own decisions on, but has all the data that's needed to make informed decisions on a strategy that does work, has been back tested. I love all the back testing features. I think that's super valuable, and I think it's one of the best tools out there that I've come across for this type of trading. So it's definitely
Yeah,
something.
because if you think about it, Russell, I mean, when you're trading against other traders. So you are trading actually against Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, traders like you and me who have been doing it for a long time. So you don't want to go into this arena with gladiators and then show up with a knife to a gunfight, right? So
Right.
this is where I think, in order to succeed with trading, you need three things. Number one, you do need a trading strategy. I mean, if you don't have a strategy that tells you what to trade, when to enter, when to exit, how much money to commit, it will be extremely difficult because then you're trading on emotions and this never ends well. Number
Yeah.
two, I do believe that you do need professional tools, especially these days. It's
Yeah.
2022 as we are recording this, right? I mean, 2023 is around the corner. If right now you're still working with hand drawn charts or with Yahoo Finance, I mean, come on, seriously, give me a break
Yeah.
here. And number three is to have the right mindset. And the right mindset is that trading is not about getting rich quick. It's about getting rich. I mean, ultimately, that's why we are doing it. But there's no getting rich quick when trading.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and that's what I love about the PowerX strategy. So, for people that don't know much about the program, there's really two strategies encompassed in it, and they're really cool because they're basically quite different in terms of like what market that they're useful in. And so 2022 has been one of the worst markets I've ever seen. I'm guessing it's close to one of the worst markets that you've been trading in over the
Yeah,
last.
I mean, 2008, 2009 were pretty bad.
Yeah,
2018, we had a little bit of a dip. But yeah, I mean, 2020 was scary with the pandemic for a
yeah,
few months. But now, yeah, 2022 definitely way more challenging to trade, especially since most traders uh, who are new to this experienced the bull market in 2020 and 2021 after the
so
pandemic,
many.
where it was just going up. And I mean, almost hard to lose money in such a market. But
Right.
these this market in 2022 definitely more challenging.
Yeah, and I think that's where you've probably come into your own though, because you're one of the relatively small amount of people that do option selling for premium with the wheel strategy.
Yeah.
And from my experience so far this year, that has been the strategy to go to. a lot of option buyers have been getting chopped to pieces with all the ups and downs.
Yeah.
But the option selling stuff has been doing really, really well. And I'm assuming that's the same for you. It sounds like you've been doing great selling options
Yeah,
this
I
year.
mean, so far I'm up $137,000 in realized profits for the year. Have a few unrealized profits, so I'll probably end the year somewhere between 145,000 or $150,000. And I mean, based on the account size that I'm trading, which is a $250,000 account, that's a
Wow, that's
solid 60-65%. And considering that the S&P and all the other indices so far are still down for the
yeah,
year,
yeah.
I think I'm doing quite well. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
worked well for me.
yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, when you start to talk about six figures, people immediately start thinking maybe you're using a seven-figure account, but that's fantastic. So
Yeah.
that's really great. And so I guess what would be your main advice? Would you suggest that people learn to sell options in this market if they are just doing, the normal buy side of
Well,
things?
you see, Russell, it's a good point because I have been for many years a directional trader. What does it mean, directional trader? Usually you just want to participate when the market is going up. So this is when you either buy stocks or you buy options, right? I mean, super, super popular. Here's the challenge. If you look at the markets, most people think there's only three directions. It's up, down, or sideways.
Yeah,
Actually, if you think about it, there's five directions. There's either strong up move or a little bit like a grinding up, right? Then there's the sideways move, then there's grinding down, and then there's crashing. And when you buy options, you need this strong up move, right? You need, for example, NVIDIA to go from 170 to 200 or
yeah,
190. So you need a very, very strong move here. Otherwise, it won't work. Now, the beautiful thing is when you're selling options, you can be wrong and still make money because when you're selling options, obviously you want the market to move higher. So that's great. When the market is skyrocketing higher, great. When it is grinding higher, great. When it is going sideways, great. But here's the deal: even if the market is going down, unless the market is crashing, you're still doing quite well. And so
yeah,
this way, you're basically turning the whole thing upside down, right? When you're buying options, you need to have one of these five conditions, the strong
yeah,
up move or strong down move, whether you're buying calls or puts, to
yeah,
be right. When you're selling options, right, you only need, or actually four out of these five scenarios, you're making money. And that's
right,
what intrigues me because this gives you an incredibly high winning percentage. And don't get me
yeah,
wrong, it's not all about the winning percentage,
right.
but trust me, that's a very good feeling when most of your trades are winning trades.
Yeah, yeah, and really you're betting on something not happening, right? Rather than betting on something actually happening. So you're ruling out all the stuff that, and just saying, I bet that, SPY won't close beneath 200 or whatever. And of course, the probability of that is extremely high.
Yeah,
And you get rewarded with the premium for that trade. It might not be a lot, but you get it, and it's a 90% chance, 95% chance sometimes, depending on how far out the money you go and things. So
yeah,
so yeah, and I think a lot of people, associate you with the wheel strategy completely because of your book, the wheel strategy that you wrote. And it's a good book. Highly recommend it. I'll leave a link in the description for people to go and check it out. It's got a lot of details in it. I guess one thing I'd like to quickly talk about is your success with this page that we have up at the moment. So you're telling me about this one page. I can make this full screen so we can kind of have a look at it here. So,
yeah.
so you're telling me this is part of your success, which is having a really, really strong trading plan. And I was wondering if you could kind of like walk us through a little bit about what's actually involved with people if they want to come and sign up for this bulletproof trading plan.
Yeah, that is actually my plan. This is the plan that I am using right now and that I have been using in 2022 to achieve the results that I just talked about, to make the six figures, to make the $137,000, and probably, hopefully, knock on wood, we never know. But yeah, ending up between 145 to $150,000 here. And this is where I think I'll just share it with traders. First of all, so that you see what exactly does a trading plan look like. I mean, most traders know, oh yeah, I should have a trading plan, but what exactly does a trading plan look like? And it doesn't have to be super complicated. This is why I say it's a one-page cheat sheet, basically, because I don't like complicated. Whenever I try to do complicated, this is when I make mistakes. So it's a simple plan, but this is exactly the plan that I'm using.
That's great. So that's delivered by email within 10 minutes. Awesome. And people can just start going through that. That's really cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
don't get me wrong. I'm not saying use this plan. It just use it as an example, look at it and see if it makes sense to you. I believe that every trader need to find a strategy that works for him or her. There is no perfect trading strategy. There's only a perfect trading strategy for you based on your availability to trade, based on your account size, based on your risk tolerance, right? So this is where I'm saying, you know what, use this here as an example. That's what I do. Never ever follow anything blindly. Test it, place a few trades, best on a simulator. I mean, you talked about Think or Swim. Think or Swim has one of the best simulators out there. And just see if this is a plan that lets you sleep at night. Because honestly, the worst trading plan is the one that keeps you up at night, where you're staring at the ceiling and say, oh my God, what have I done? Why did I enter the trade? That's not a good trading plan, right? Good
Definitely not.
trading plan is where you sleep at night and say, you know what, I make smart choices. I know that I have an edge in the market. I know that I might not win every single trade, but in the long run, I will make money.
Yeah.
That is the trading plan that you're looking for.
Yeah, and that's what I really love about the whole system that you're running with PowerX and things is it's very clear that that's a very strong underlying theme within everything you do. And I'm wondering wondering if it's partly your German heritage that is part of that. Very disciplined, very focused on details, and a lot of the German guys I knew when I did physics. I was a physics researcher for a long time, so I did a
Oh,
PhD
yeah.
in physics in Scotland, and then so I had a lot of interactions with German physicists, and they were all very, very meticulous and very data driven. And I see that a lot in your trading style. Is that a fair observation, do you think?
Oh, yeah, oh, absolutely. And you see, it's actually a double whammy because my dad is an engineer. So I
Oh,
grew up raised by an engineer, right? So this is why in my trading and also in the software, you see a lot of the German engineering. And I mean, you might disagree with me. I don't care. We make the best cars in the world.
definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Definitely.
right? So
German engineering.
anyhow, and this is what you see. That's my mindset. I mean, yes, first of all, growing up in Germany and then being raised by a German engineer, you will see a lot of these elements in the software and in my trading plan.
Very cool. And so I was hoping to talk a little bit about the PowerX. I think one thing I wanted to draw people's attention to though is you guys give away so much good stuff. And one thing I was really impressed with recently was the Options 101 course. So I
Oh
was going to
yeah,
leave a link in the description to that. I think this is really good value for money. I watched all the videos, and I think people pay a lot of money to get access to these types of things. Then you guys are giving these away for free, at least for a limited time. And I really enjoyed them. And there's something for everybody in there. So I was wondering if we could talk a little bit about the content in there. I know you present video; it's a video course, and I think
yeah.
you're the main guy doing the things. It's coming straight from you. So just
Yes.
curious about your kind of the thought process behind launching this Options 101 video course. Um, yeah.
Well, but you see, when it comes to options, most people make it way too complicated. And if you think about it, there's so many option trading strategies, right? I mean, there's obviously just the outright buying or selling options, but then you have the spread trading, you have vertical spreads, you have calendar spreads, then you have iron condors, you have butterflies, you have broken wing broken wing butterflies, and all these
Yeah.
kind of things. And you see, this is where people often get overwhelmed by all of this. So this is why I thought, you know what, let's just break it down and make it simple. It's almost like Legos, right? You know that these days you can build the Death Star out of Lego or a
Right.
Ferrari, but it all boils down to having these Lego blocks. And this is what this is all about. It's giving you the building blocks. Because if you think about it, ultimately, we only have calls and puts, and we can either buy or sell them. And all of the trading strategies that are out there are just a combination of these four building blocks, right? I mean, buying a call or selling a call, and buying a put or selling a put. And then it's about a combination. So this is why I thought, you know what? I'll just put this out here and really help people who are intrigued by options, but also overwhelmed to understand options. So this course will take you maybe 45 to 50 minutes, less than an hour to go through, and it gives you a super solid foundation. And the one feedback that I've heard over and over is that people say, "Oh my gosh, now I finally get it,"
That's
and that's my goal with this.
That's great. And just looking at the landing page here a little bit, and I'm seeing this 94.7%. And I remember before I learned how to sell options and things, I thought that was, I thought anybody claiming this type of thing was just, just some sort of scam or whatever, until I learned about the strategies about wheeling and all this stuff. And yeah, so this is real for people that are not maybe that familiar with option selling. This really is the kind of win rate that you can expect to see if you do these strategies correctly, the way Markus is doing them, for example. And so in a market where people are getting chopped to pieces and people are going short right after a bear rally, or they're going long right at the end of a bear rally and they're getting caught in things, the wheel strategy has been working really, really well for people and obviously for Markus. And the win rates are extremely high, like much higher than you'd ever expect if you're on the buy side of trade. So this is definitely worth checking out. I think you do cover some of the basics right on the buy side, but there's also a couple of videos in here about selling options too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because that's what I'm mainly focusing on.
Yeah.
But you see, I mean, especially when selling options, there are some risks. So you need to know the risks. And I think this is very important because these days, or especially over the last 2 years, in 2020 and 2021, I've seen too many traders or too many people getting interested in trading, thinking it was easy and they never can lose money. And I mean, as you know, for the longest time, second part of 2020 and 2021, it was almost true. It doesn't matter whether you are trading cryptocurrencies or you're buying stocks, even meme stocks, right? I mean, you were just making money, and this is not what trading is all about. I mean, there are risks associated. You need to know these risks. You need to learn to navigate these risks, and then to generate what I call the so-called SRC profits, which stands for systematic, repeatable, and consistent. To grow your account, we won't be able to grow your account every day, but the idea is every week, every month, and definitely every year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with the Power X, I think one of the things that really struck me when I first got started with it was how powerful it is, but at the same time how simple it is. And I think that surprises a lot of people because it works. It's fantastic. There's a ton of back tested data that you can look through and everything, and we'll show you guys that are watching this in a minute. But the basics behind it are not rocket science, and that's what I love because the complexity just adds extra issues. So.
Right. And trust me, Russell, I've tried to make it complicated. And whenever I try complicated trading strategies, I make mistakes and I lose money. So simple works best. And if you think about the best of the best, just think about Warren Buffett. Does he use any complicated trading strategies? No. I mean, honestly, Warren Buffett does exactly this. He's selling puts, then he gets it signed. So he's buying stocks at a discount and he's holding them for a long time.
Yeah.
So super. I mean, what's simpler than that, right? And it's super boring. And I mean, he's no longer the richest man in the world. He used to be. He's still in the top 10. So, and this dude is like what? Uh, 94, 95 years old. It's unbelievable.
Is he really that old? Jeez,
Yeah, he's really that old. And I mean, if you think about it, at 95 years old, you cannot sit in front of the computer all day long pushing buttons, right? I mean, you're using a more relaxed trading strategy. And that's exactly what I'm doing here as well.
Yeah, and so one question for you I'd have is, are you concerned about the market direction at this point, or do you just not care because you're doing the wheel strategy a lot and it doesn't bother you as much, or do you have a do you even consider, like, is the market going to go up from here? Are we going to rally with reduced Fed rates and all this, or do you just like kind of gloss over and all that and say, look, I'll make money either way by doing this the wheel strategy, for example?
Yeah. Can you just bring my video back for a moment?
Yeah, no problem. I'll put this back.
Because I want to show you something really quick. You see here, I have this mug that says, trade what you see,
Yep.
not what you think.
Okay.
Right? And that's super important to me because if you start thinking, I mean, when I start thinking, I first of all start overthinking, and secondly, I'm wrong, right? And
Right,
this
right.
where I think it's a problem. It was a problem for me in the beginning of a trader, that I suffered from analysis paralysis. I was over analyzing things, right? I mean, especially you mentioned it with the markets right now. Okay, what's happening? Are we going into a recession? Are we not going into a recession? Interest rate. Will the markets crash? Will the markets rally? Right? I mean, you can drive yourself crazy. And
Yep.
this is why I just say I trade what I see, not what I think. And this has helped me tremendously. So
Yeah.
therefore, I'm holding, I mean, when I'm selling options, I'm selling them only a few days out. So it's rather short term trades. And therefore, I'm still in control.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the interesting things with your strategy compared to some other people that sell options is you tend to let things expire, right? So you tend to actually let the option expire, which a lot of people are cutting their profits at 50% or whatnot. And I think you mentioned somewhere you talked about why you do that, and it's quite simple but quite interesting, and it's to do with liquidity. I think is what you mentioned at one point.
Right, because you see, I mean, first of all, I'm not afraid to get assigned. When you're selling options, it can be that the stock closes below your strike price and now you have to buy the stock. And that is absolutely fine with me, because then I can sell covered calls. That
Right,
is part of the wheel strategy. The
right,
reason why the wheel strategy is called the wheel strategy, because it has three steps. Number one, you're selling put options. Number two, you might or might not get assigned. If you're not, you're going back to step number one. But if you're assigned, then you go to step number three, selling covered calls until you're getting called away. And I know that I'm running through this very quickly. You mentioned it. I've written a whole book on this, and you said that you'll leave a link in
I
the
will. Yeah,
description so you can
yeah,
check that out.
yeah.
And you see, this is where most people are taking profits too early, right? So this is what also happened to me in the beginning of my trading career. And I think this is why it's so important to have a trading plan that you trust, where you say, you know what, no, I'm doing it. And yes, I like to let options expire to really get the most out of the time
Yeah,
decay.
yeah, and I think the analogy I think I've seen you guys making recently is the Warren Buffett trade, right? Where he wants to buy the stock at a lower price, so you might as well sell cash secured puts against it, right? Get assigned at the lower price, make money passively, income that's coming in whilst he's waiting, for it to expire, and then if it does, gets assigned, he's got the he's got the stock. So
See, Russell, if you think about it, if you really dissect what Warren Buffett does and what the wheel strategy is, you're getting paid to buy stocks at a discount.
yeah,
And when you first think about it, if you say something, hey, would you like to get paid to buy stocks 10% cheaper than they are right now? You said, what are you talking about? This doesn't exist. But that's exactly what it's all
yeah,
about when you're selling cash secured puts and you're getting assigned. You're getting paid to buy stocks at
yeah,
an 8 to 10% discount from where they are right now. And I
yeah.
think, geez, well, when I first heard about this, I thought, boom, mind blown.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, so I was hoping one thing that I don't think a lot of people do in these interviews, like I've watched quite a few of your interviews, and you're full of awesome, interesting tips and tricks and insights from your what 30 years of trading now. I want to say, like you've been doing it for 30 years, so
Yeah.
so you have a lot more experience than the vast majority of people, which is awesome, and I really enjoy hearing these tips and tricks. One thing I don't see people doing so much though, and maybe I'm wrong, but is actually looking at the PowerX software and going through it a little bit and saying, hey, this is what's inside this awesome product that Rockwell has been working on for what? How long do you think you guys have been? I know you do constant updates on it, and it's great because it's always improving. But when was the first like iteration of the PowerX software that helps you with
Oh
all
my
this?
gosh, this was still as a standalone Windows version that you had to download it. And back in the days, we called it the PowerX Analyzer. This must have been at least 6 or 7 years ago. I would
Okay,
have to look back. So, and yeah, it has definitely evolved ever since, because I'm determined to create the best trading software in the world. And I mean, this sounds very fancy, but how do you define best trading software? Number one, of course, it's the software that makes you money, right?
right,
So the picks of the software have to be extremely accurate. So this is what I'm obsessed with. And number two, to keep it simple. I mean, you just talked about think or swim. Think about it. I mean, think or swim, it takes you days, weeks, sometimes even months to learn this super complex platform. My goal with PowerX Optimizer is that you can learn it in 60 minutes or less, right?
Yeah.
So that you can trade with it tomorrow. That's the
Right,
goal.
right.
Because who wants to learn complicated software?
Yeah, and I guess that's a question I have for you. So, so the more skeptical people out there might say, well, it's great, but is anything really that unique or special? Like, what would you say are the key advantages over the PowerX compared to, say, setting things up in a different program like TradingView or something like that? I know what my opinions are of it, and I know there's a lot of advantages, but it'd be interesting to see what your thought process is as you're developing and making the system better and better. What you would say to people that say, well, I could probably do this on TradingView or something. Like, what's kind of your thoughts on those types of types of arguments?
I mean, it's a valid question, right? So the PowerX optimizer supports actually two specific trading strategies, and it does it really, really well. So this is, I think, the main difference between PowerX optimizer being designed to really nail it with these two strategies versus a trading view where you can do whatever you want, right? I mean, you have 160 indicators built in. Great. And what do you do now, right? Same as with Think or Swim. You're opening the box, metaphorically, right, and say, what do I do now? So this is where I say, don't think about getting PowerX Optimizer if you are not interested in trading the wheel strategy or the PowerX strategy, which is directional strategy, right? So because PowerX Optimizer is not designed to be the I don't know, be all, do all like TradingView or Think or Swim. It is designed to help you when you are committed to these strategies. It's absolutely the best because it's focusing, it's laser focused on these two trading strategies, and that's what makes it so powerful.
Yeah, and one of the things I really like is so you're using fairly well-known, great indicators that work, and it's fantastic. But the back testing for me is something that's included in the PowerX that changes the game for me. So like I could go away, set up your indicators or whatever. Like I think most people that have a look into this could say that, but the back testing and the data crunching that you guys are doing, in fact, it's actually doing it right now. If I switch up to the to this,
yeah, it does it right now. So because we're doing the interview here in the afternoon after the markets are closed, so right now we are really crunching around 2.5 million data points, because as I said, think about it, for a trader, this is what I figured out. One of the most important things for me is having confidence in my trades. And how do you know that a trade that you placed is a good trade? Well, you want to know that statistically you have an edge, right? That over the past few years, if you had placed this trade according to the rules, you would have made money. And this is why I think that backtesting is one of the aspects to help you with the confidence. And the other parts is that you know exactly what to expect from a trade, right? I mean, what is the profit potential? What is loss? What is the probability of profit? I mean, you want to put the odds in your favor.
Yeah, definitely. So at the moment, this system is processing 10,000 stocks and looking at all the data points and then updating it for the system tomorrow. Is that kind of
Right.
what's going
So
on?
it's, I think we have now 12,000 stocks and ETFs from the US. We have another, I think it's 2,000 or 1,500 stocks from Canada that is in there. We have all of the cryptocurrencies in there. I mean, right now it's not popular to trade cryptocurrencies, but there are still opportunities. So I think that we have close to 15,000 different symbols in there, and then add all of the options data to this. Yeah, there's a lot of numbers crunching going on.
Yeah, and in retrospect, I probably should have scheduled this interview for a time where it wasn't doing this.
Hey, you see, Russell, that's a good point. We can always do a part two. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if your viewers are enjoying what we have talked about right now and they would like to see PowerX Optimizer in action, we could, if you want, actually do a session during market hours so that we actually see what we could trade and maybe we find a trade together.
Yeah, that'd be really, really cool because I forgot that it does this. It does it for a while as well. So my hope was to show the some of the dashboard and kind of go through like what you get. But from what you can tell up here, and we can just kind of go through the very basics. I noticed that it looks like you guys have added some stuff. I log in and take a few trades here and there. I don't use it every day or anything like you do, but But one thing I noticed recently that's really, really nice is this economic calendar. So my trading recently has been based around what on earth these people are going to be talking about or data that's coming out. And I'm not sure if this is new or if I just missed it before. But having this pop up with the different what's happening on the day is extremely useful for me. And I think a lot of people will be finding that very helpful as well, because it's kind of a one-stop shop. You're like, okay, what's on the economic calendar? Don't have to go to a different site. I can just pop it up on the Power X and look at what's going on. And do I really want to hold through this guy speaking, or
Right.
So it's
Well,
pretty
plus
helpful.
the other powerful thing is you see there the earnings analyzer. And this is something, especially when earnings season is upon us. You know that during 4 or 5 weeks, there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. Oh, it's not available right now
Yeah,
either.
it's not
You know
gonna
what?
be.
Here's what we should do. If you guys want, if you're watching this and you want us to do a part where we do some live trading, just click on like this video here, because then we'll see that you're enjoying it, and we could schedule something like this because then we can
Yeah.
show you all of these cool features.
Yeah, for sure. I think that sounds like a great. I'd really appreciate that as well. I think that'd be fantastic. I think people going through this would really enjoy something like that. So yeah, so maybe that's what we do. Maybe we just we do another part here and just kind of wrap up this part and call it part one, and then part two could
All
be
part one.
yeah, this part one, and then we could move on and actually do some of the stuff you're suggesting there. It'd be really good. So that might be the way to go. So yeah, I'd be up for that. That'd be amazing. I think people will get so much value from it and have a good look inside and get it from the man himself, from you, which is always good. So I've reviewed the Power X several times now. Like I've gone through trades that I've done on it, but there's always like it's always good to get it from the guy who invented the thing, right? And has used it for years and years and years. And you can say,
Yeah.
hey, no, you want to do this, not this. And this is what I do. And we can cover all like the back test and stuff, which I find is a really important part of it. Like looking for the different curves, like and the different strategies. And the whole thing is just fantastic. It gives you the exact options, contract suggestions for you based on your risk tolerance and like your risk reward. And you can weigh it all up. And it's a whole trading plan in itself, which is just phenomenal. So
Yeah, let's do that. Let's
yeah,
do that.
yeah, that sounds like a plan. So why don't we just call it a day here? I think we've given people a lot of information to think about and then to watch this video, and then let's stay in touch and organize an actual session during the trading day at some point together. It'd be amazing. So
If enough people like this video. So
okay, we'll
click on
see if
like
we
right
get enough people. Yeah, yeah, enough people liking it, making that algorithm get that ranked in YouTube and stuff. It'd be pretty good. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Well, thanks for having me. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Thanks very much, and we'll catch up with you in the next video, hopefully.
Sounds good.
Thank you.